Welcome to Velocity Banking Together. My name is Dewan. Welcome to our YouTube channel. It'll be mostly me and my wife. My name is Dewan. My wife's name is Michelle. We will be talking about velocity banking and doing that with your family. And we'll talk about our journey. We'll talk about our wins, our losses. And I just wanted to kind of make this an intro video to welcome you to our page. And so, introduction. My name is Dewan. My wife's name is Michelle. We've been married for 17 years. We've been on our financial journey for a long time, and we want to share our experiences with you. We are not financial advisors by any means, but we will talk about our experiences and how we manage our finances, and hopefully that will help you along your journey and your way of debt freedom and financial freedom. And so we're going to document our journey on our path to financial freedom. And we are real people sharing our journey with you. And hopefully you'll get some information that is helpful to you and your family. And so why does this channel exist? We've tried hundreds of different ways to manage our finances. We've researched videos. We've tried traditional spreadsheets. I'm a spreadsheet nerd myself. I've been crunching the numbers and we've tried that. We've done refinancing. We've tried to refinance our home and refinance cars and trying to find ways to get debt relief. We've tried the debt snowball. We've listed our debts from smallest to largest and tried to go through all of those debts. And just each of those had challenges within each of those methods. We've tried making extra payments to get ahead. So with extra payments, I feel like when we did a budget, we would list all of our debts, smallest to the largest. And let's say we had did a budget and we was going to have $500 extra for the month. We would try to take $500 and make that extra payment at the end of the month. What would happen is that never worked. We would never have $500 extra dollars to apply to that loan. It felt like something would happen with the kids or whatever, and that $500 would be like $100. And so that just extra payments just never did work for us. We kind of just asked ourselves, there must be an easier way to manage our finances and get ahead financially. And so to talk about our journey a little bit more in detail, we started with a budget. We would list our debts from smallest to largest. We would do our income minus our expenses, and we would try to list all of our debts and all of our bills and how we're going to pay them for the month. And just it was always something that always changed with that budget. Something would happen with the kids, with our car, a blown tire, whatever. It just seemed like the budget just would not work. And then also we had a lot of student loan debt coming out of college. Student loans, I mean, you got that fixed payment that's eating your cash flow each and every month. We wanted to pay those off. We tried to put extra money on them. It just seemed like they would just not go away. We've done all of the car debt, mistakes within our trying to buy cars, buy a new car, do a traditional loan at 8%, and that's just eating up our cash flow. Medical debt, we have 3 kids. So we had medical expenses for each of those kids to pay them. I know our first child, we wasn't the best paying those loans off. So then they would go to collections and all of this stuff with the medical debt. Or they would be like, all right, you owe a certain amount of money. You can just pay $100 a month. And that $100 a month just eating our cash flow up. And it just seemed like we would just never get out of that debt. Also, we've tried Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey, I think, is a good place to start. That's where we started. Like I said, we listed our debts from smallest to largest. We did our best with paying off those smaller debts, getting that momentum, trying to get that encouragement and do the debt snowball. But I felt like there was a point where we would just get stuck. We would do something and would get more debt, or we would try to, trip or something like that to go see family would come up. And it just seemed like there was always something coming up that would just mess up the Dave Ramsey method. And another thing was, credit cards. I felt like other people were using credit cards and were able to manage them correctly. And I wanted to learn how to use a credit card and manage it correctly before just really struggle with managing credit cards. I think what tricked us was pending payments, like you would swipe and then that payment would just come through, and that really wasn't the true balance. So we never really had a good grasp of the real balance. And so we had challenges with that in the past. And then After all of that, you got, your debt, you have your payments and your bills. How do you find room to do saving and investing? We always had challenges with that. So, like I said, we've tried it all, and that's where it brought us to velocity banking. And so, what is velocity banking? All right. So, velocity banking is when you use your income and cash flow and a line of credit to pay off debt faster. So you're using your income, using that cash flow, put it in that line of credit. That line of credit could be a PLOC, a credit card, a HELOC, and for us now we have a all-in-one loan. And so I'll be going in detail about all of those things. But basically, you're flowing all of your income and all of your expenses through a line of credit to reduce the principal. You're applying it immediately to that principal, and you're using the line as your checking and savings account. So we don't have a checking and savings account. I mean, we have one, but that is not where our income and our expenses are coming out of. It's flowing through our line of credit. That's our main operating account. And so the key is thinking in terms of cash flow. First, using the leftover income each month after your expenses. So that's what cash flow is. Your income minus your expenses equals your cash flow as a powerful tool to eliminate debt step by step. And so you're applying it to that principle. You're putting all that money on there. Yes, your expenses are going to come off, but you've got that down, and it's going to ultimately save you a ton of interest. And so also using a line of credit, you can do a thing called the chunking method. And so you're pulling money off of that line, you're throwing it onto a debt, and you're chunking away at that debt. And it's going to free up cash flow potentially, and then also reduce the principal. That's going to save you tons of interest. And so what can you expect from our channel? We're new to YouTube. What can you expect? What we're going to do is we're going to give you step-by-step explanations. We're going to walk you through the process. We're going to make it super simple for you. We're going to give you real numbers and examples, or we're going to let you know our mistakes and what we've learned. We've been doing velocity banking since January of 2025. And so right now it's June. We've been doing it for 6 months. Before that, we did a ton of research and made sure this was the right fit for us. But ultimately, our main goal is to just encourage other couples and families to implement this strategy based on our experiences and what we've learned. We are loving it. I feel like this was a new way of completely doing your banking and your financing. And so we want this to be velocity banking together, community, families, couples, So thank you for visiting our channel, Velocity Banking Together. Please subscribe, please follow. We are going to try to break this thing down simply and make it easy for you to understand, because it is different. Trust me, this is completely different than anything you probably learned about banking. You probably even heard of velocity banking. We're going to break it down step by step. So follow us at Velocity Banking Together. Thank you.